Perfect.
There we go.
Perfect. All right. Welcome, everyone. I'm so excited to be sitting down and talking with Amber tonight about being an unapologetic yellow. And let me explain the title of that Zoom for a second, because I feel like a lot of times when we hear yellows speak, we always hear an apology. Right? We almost feel like we have to apologize for who we are. And I think some of that is because we're okay with other people being better and we want to make sure everyone else feels valued and validated. And we're okay with kind of taking a back seat to that, but it can become self-deprecating. And we can start to take that as internal talk of a lack of worthiness. And when I think of Amber, though, I don't think of someone who's self-deprecating. I don't think of someone who's apologizing for who she is. I think of someone who's just unapologetically herself, leading well, doing her business well, doing her life, her marriage well, doing all the things well and unapologetically. And so I really, really fast want to tell a story of when I met Amber, because I feel like it just gives this good background to just who you are as a human being and as a person. And I first met Amber 2 years ago in Las Vegas, and my husband had just recently been diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I was speaking at an event in Vegas. And Amber walked in with a little bit late, which is fine, but a little bit late with all of her friends, and they just all looked so amazing and gorgeous together. And I remember being so intimidated right away when I saw them. And she got up and spoke, and I instantly just loved her and everything she had to say, but again, still felt intimidated. And I remember at the end of the event, she made a beeline for me, and she walked straight up to me and called me by name, which I had no idea she even knew who I was, wrapped her arms around me, put a card in my hands that had my name on it that she had written before, premeditated to give to me, and just whispered in my ear that she'd been praying for me and my husband. And I was just I crumbled. This woman cares about me. This woman I didn't even know knew me, cares about me and sees what I'm going through and sees my struggle that I didn't even know she saw or knew about or cared about. And, and I'm so excited to sit down and talk with Amber about being a yellow in this business, because what a strength to help people feel so valued and help people feel so worthy and so seen. And so I'm just excited to dive into this. And now that I've made you cry, I just want you to jump in by sharing your It Works story with us, telling us more about who you are. It's okay. It's a yellow Zoom.
Listen,
we're probably going to cry.
I am not sorry I'm crying, but you guys know these moments are pivotal moments in your life. And I'll never forget that. And as a yellow, I feel, and we all do, right? And it's whether you embrace that feeling of I'm here for a different purpose, or you don't. And that's the difference between shifting that yellow to being small or being a big yellow. And I want to be a big yellow. So, oh my gosh, I'm I need to run and go grab tissue. Gosh dang it. Claire, why? Don't say sorry. But so you guys, for me, I started this business almost 7 years ago. Okay. Almost 7 years ago. And I knew nothing about personality colors. I knew nothing about being a red, being a yellow, being a rainbow, whatever you want to be. It doesn't matter. It's really not the majority of the story. And I think a lot of people start and they don't know what color they are. It's important, but it's also, I feel like sometimes it can define you in a certain way that you're I'm more than just that, right? And we can learn a different language as well. And so when I started, you guys, 7 years ago, I had no idea that I was ever going to impact so many lives. I had no idea that I was going to be a millionaire. I had no idea that I was going to go from Wiccan food stamps to being able to pay up for other people's groceries. I had no idea why on earth I saw an ad on Facebook and I decided to click on it. I had no idea in that moment. But what I did know was all the prayers that I had been praying, please God, get us out of this situation. By the way, God, I don't trust you. By the way, I don't even know if you're real. But I knew that I needed something more. And that's, if you are in that moment right now in your life where you're I know there's more to life than what I'm currently experiencing. I want you to drop a 1 in the chat. That's where I was. I just knew there was more. I didn't know what that more was. I didn't know what that more looked like. I just got started. And looking back, hindsight's always 2020, but looking back, this was an answer to the prayers I had been praying about my health. This was the answers to the prayer that I had been praying about my finances, about the relationship with my husband, about the relationship with my kids. I had 2 babies at home, and about my career as a stylist. Like, you guys, I thought I was going to be like Edward Scissorhands on stage as a stylist, training stylists. If you're a stylist, drop a 2 in the chat. But that's what my dream was. And why did I want that dream? Was because I wanted to help people. I love being of service. I love showing up for people secretively, like incognito, don't even have a clue, like where it came from. And you just sit back like, yes, that's what I love. Like, that's what fuels my soul. And so when I got started, I was like, I don't have $100, but if I don't have $100, there's a lot of other people who don't have $100, and how can I help them? And I started with the wraps. And again, it was, if I'm using the wraps for my stretch marks, how many other moms have stretch marks that I can help? It was always about other people. And I went Ruby in 45 days. Okay. Mind you, I was one of those people who said, don't worry about me when I sign up, because I'm not doing anything anyways. I was one of those like $9.99 people, but it was $99.99. Okay. But I was that person. And I had no idea what was in my hands. And once I found out that I didn't have a wrap in my hand, I didn't have just a customer program in my hand, I had the opportunity for me to be the best version of me, helping every single person that I can touch. See, imagine, that's when I was like, this is my vehicle. This is my vehicle to make my life better and so many other people's lives better. And so after I went Ruby, you guys, I wanted to quit though. I was 45 days in, and I'll never forget making that phone call, not to my upline, but to somebody else above her. And I just said, hey, I think I'm done. And she was like, please don't. If you do what you did in another 45 days, you'll get a $10,000 bonus. And I'm a Leo. So that's like where the yellow ditches out and the red comes in. I'm like, don't tell me not to do something, because I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it in silence, and you're going to see me be successful. Okay. Any other Leos? Okay. Leos are rebellious, and that's been my whole life. And so I was like, fine, I'll do it again, and I'll do it for another 45 days. And sure enough, you guys, November 15th of 2012, I went diamond, and I got that $10,000 bonus. And then it turned from me getting $1,000 check to helping my husband with the mortgage. And that January, I went to conference, and they announced more bonuses. And I looked at my team to the left and to the right, and I said, I got to help you and you and you and you and you. And if I don't help them, I'm not going anywhere. And you guys, that's ultimately what this business is about. It's about other people. It has nothing to do with you. You will come, you will go when you help other people. And so I was double diamond the very next month, triple diamond in 8 months. And that's when we retired Josh. And we brought him home from his job midsummer. That was our first summer of 2013 that we had a taste of what freedom felt like on a Friday, on a Monday. We had that weekend throughout the week, and we really had a difference in perspective of what this could possibly be even more. And even just having that glimpse of what the freedom could be, I was like, I'm all in. I know what I have. And he showed up to green carpet, and we planted our flag and our casket. We were like, we're going to die in a green casket, because this is our home. And gosh, you guys, it's been almost 7 years that we've lived a life of just true freedom. And I've been able to grow into a completely different person than I was 7 years ago, for the best version. And I'm not done yet. A little bit about
amazing. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. The chat is going crazy. So when you can glance over, make sure you glance over. Okay. So I want to just kick it off by, tell me, what are the qualities that you have that cause you to label yourself as a yellow, just so we can kind of get that definition going. And then kind of as you touch on them, maybe just briefly mention how they're strengths and weaknesses, both.
So the first thing that comes to my mind is loyalty. We're loyal to a fault. And that means sometimes we accept apologies that we shouldn't accept. And sometimes we accept apologies and we give them and we accept them, and they still burn us, and we're okay with that. And that's where the fault comes in. You've got to learn to say, no, it's not okay. And I'm going to forgive you, but I'm not going to allow that to happen again. So loyalty is one, and loyal, I mean, like, even when it's wrong, you're loyal and you're like, oh no. Like, and I grew up in the ghetto. So again, the rebellion, and I mean, like, Flint, Michigan is, you're loyal and you're like, I look stupid right now. Why am I loyal to you? But you still do it. So loyalty but it's a really good quality, you guys. Nothing will rock you if you're loyal too. Like, you're not very easily tempted. I don't care what else is out there because I'm loyal here, So loyalty, I think, gosh, it sounds like yellows are awesome and amazing, and we are, but I feel like most of the time we're confident. And sometimes that also puts us on a stranded island because people take our shyness or our, like, we don't need really the spotlight, that we also don't need anything. And we need a lot, especially if your love language is like words of affirmation or, quality time or gifts. Like, you need those things. So confidence is key. It's crucial. But also I would say very humble is a yellow. Like, they're very much like, it's okay. I'll bend over backwards and I'll travel the earth for you. Like, we'll always go above and beyond. And sometimes too, we would never get that in return from different people, and we still do it. And so there's the pros, there's the cons. But those are some of the main things and we're hardworking. We'll do anything, even if we're like, I know this is going to cost me, I'll still do it. Or I don't necessarily want to do this. It doesn't bring me joy, but it's going to bring her joy, and I'm going to do it. And you're going to do it with a smile on your face. And so there's a lot of things that qualities that yellows have. And those are some of them.
Yeah. So I was like frantically writing notes because I'm like, yes, I see myself there. I always say, I'm like, I will go to the greatest lengths to inconvenience myself so that no one else has to be inconvenienced. Like, I will bend over in like a million directions and be so inconvenienced, but it's okay as long as you're not inconvenienced, then we're good, But yeah, I have so many notes already. I'm going to go back and listen to that again. I don't know about you guys, but I like identifying with someone. And so when someone's like, we're like this, and when I see myself in that, it gets me really excited. And I know you guys do too, because you're all like, yes, in the chat. So, okay. So share with us, as a leader who is yellow, what does your balance look like of the time that you're giving to your team, and then also the time that you're giving to your personal business?
So, and it's changed now a lot too with it being in the field. I now have if you're married, like, this is something I'm going to stress to you from the get-go. I don't care how long you've been in the business, your marriage needs to be number one. And if you don't feed your marriage, your kids ain't going to eat, and neither will your business. And so feed your marriage. And now that Josh and I are over the field, as well as working the business, as well as homeschooling our kids, as well as trying to be mom and dad, husband and wife, friend of friend, right? Like, we have all these hats we want to put on. I've learned that if it's important to me, I'm going to put it on my calendar. And if it's not on my calendar, it's not important to me. And on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it to me right now? And how important will it be in a year? And those are two things that have really allowed me to say no. And it hurts, you guys. It hurts so bad when I have to say no, or if I have to say not right now, especially to even team members or sidelines or Zooms. Like, I mean, it's insane, awesome. But there's times where I'm like, I'm actually not available. And as a yellow, I'm like, but I can make it work. But my husband can sacrifice. But my kids, they'll be all right. Like, do they really need me right now? We can, Oh, I thought I muted everyone. There we go. And so, sorry, I get squirrel really bad. So if it hurts sometimes to say no, but learning to say no is going to trade the good for the great. And sometimes we have to say no to things right now that aren't necessarily beneficial now and long-term. So we can say yes to everything that's important to us long-term. And a lot of times as a yellow, we forget about that. We forget about the long-term consequences if we overfill our cup right now, uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? Oh no. Okay.
Okay. Sorry. Hang tight, guys.
Oh my gosh! All of a sudden it was like, your internet is not sustainable. I was like,
yes.
No. Okay.
Well, you're back now.
Okay, good. Okay, so, but what I was saying was that, like, it's hard sometimes to say no for the short term, really, when we have things that are going to benefit us long term. But if it's important to you, you're going to put it on the schedule. And as a yellow with 0 green, I never was schedule oriented. I didn't care. Fly by the seat of my pants. Do whatever. Oh, you needed me to pick you up an hour away in 10 minutes? I'm there. I'll speed. I'll get a ticket. Like, it's cool. Like, I would always look for, it doesn't matter. Y'all are laughing because it's true, right? Like, we would do that. We would go to the ends of the earth and be like, at whatever cost, I got you, right? So trying to balance it all, you guys, is remembering what's important now and what's important long term. And asking myself, in a year, will this matter? And if the answer is no, then I'm not doing it. In a year, will this Zoom matter? Yes, because somebody's going to come back to me in 1 year from watching this, and 2 years later when they watch the recording, and they're going to say, oh my gosh, because of this, I got that. That's important to me. And so saying no to the good so you can say yes to the great. You can have balance in everything, but again, like, there's just things that are important to me, and date night in my marriage and having me time is crucial. Otherwise, as a yellow, you cannot pour from an empty cup, period, the end. You will try, and you will, like, take that last sip of that cup every single time, but I promise you'll be a really awesome, more incredible yellow when you feed your cup.
That rolls really well into what I was going to ask you next, which is, how does your self-development play into your business, and what are you kind of focused on when it comes to self-development and what you're trying to grow?
So this is going to always change. Okay. What I did 7 years ago is when I started the business, I was always in leadership positions. Okay. At 14 years old, I started working senior year in high school. I was managing a clothing store. Right out of hair school, I went and flipped and managed a hair salon. I knew how to manage a team. I knew how to I was HR manager at Target. So I knew how to manage. I knew how to look for good qualities of employees, of workers / reps, right? Like, I knew those things, but I didn't know how to sell to save my life. I didn't know how to be structured. I didn't know systems. I didn't know sales. I didn't know marketing. I didn't know branding. I didn't know those things. So I spent a lot of my personal time growing those areas. And then there was a lot of times when I was like, oh my gosh, my brain is not where I want it to be. And so I always study. And those of you who really know me, you guys know that I'm like, oh, I got a book for that. I got a book for that. I know that. Oh my gosh, let me strap on my tool belt and just give you a book that I've read, that I've listened to, or a podcast, or some kind of tool to help you grow and be more effective. And so I feel like I've now had a degree in system sales and marketing, even though I've never went to college a day in my life. And I feel like I could outwork, outsell, and hustle a lot of people, and mental capacity as well. Like I was driving yesterday and I just felt like I breathe really rare air. And it's not very often that I feel like I can relate to a lot of people, because God has, like, really challenged me to grow far beyond, like, what a 32-year-old normally does. And that's because I feel like the lenses that I see, I call my eye gates. Like, I watch what I see, negative or positive. I watch who I'm around, negative or positive, right? I watch what I'm listening to, my ear gates, my mouth gate. Like, what am I speaking? What am I listening to? And so a lot of times it's difficult growing as a yellow and allowing yourself to let go and release people who aren't growing. It hurts, but I promise you're going to find more people you can bless and help and, assist and be there for when you release the ones who aren't growing with you. But as far as personal development, you guys, personal and professional, every single day, non-negotiable for 7 years. I've never, ever, ever not done something personally and professionally every single day for 7 years, because again, I own a personal business. And so I must grow myself to the degree of which you're willing to grow is where your paycheck will go. But also, if I'm not growing business-wise as times change and marketing changes and things like that, I'm going to be behind. And the best part about personal and professional development is no one can take it away from me, because no one gave it to me. No one did it for me. And I'm telling you, when you work for a job and somebody else provides it for you, they can take it from you. No one can take my knowledge. No one can take from my tool belt, because they haven't studied the hours that I have. And it feels good.
Yeah, I love that. And as a yellow, like you saying, you have your tool belt, you have those books to suggest to people. We want to be helpful. We want to offer solutions for people. And so to be able to have that, and you can't pour from an empty cup. You've got to have that stuff going in so you have something to give people. And I want fresh new knowledge that I can give people when I'm talking to them. Okay, so how do you, and this is a question I have, and so I assume probably a lot of other people have it as well, but how do you stick up for yourself as a yellow? I contend, like we've already said, I can let my own voice be lost for the sake of others. And so that can lead to resentment though, if I'm not careful, especially with stronger personalities that I'm leading. So how have you leveraged your yellow with the power that leadership in the business requires, especially when it comes to our stronger personality types that we have?
So this was something I paid a lot of money for, and I'm going to share it to you guys for free. But I, again, in my personal growth years and years and years ago, I learned this quote. And I pray and I hope that really, you guys, it sticks with you in the times we want to be like, I need to explain myself. I want to own my voice right now. Powerful people don't deal in explanation. I don't explain myself. And not necessarily that I accept if other people are, being negative towards me. I know it's not true. There's a really good book by by Byron Katie called Loving What Is. If you struggle with that, okay? Meaning somebody says something about you and you're like, oh, as a yellow, we're like, oh my gosh, that's so not true. Please let me have mercy on me. Let me tell you why it's not true. No, I don't need to explain why it's not true. I know between me and him that it's not true. I don't need to explain myself. The truth will always come out. And I feel like I try to be powerful every single day. And that's why I want to do my personal power hour is not messaging. It's not, sending out this or making this marketing. It's about me. And my personal power hour is creating my power. And if I'm in power, then I can create power and better results throughout my day. And so it's called Loving What Is by Byron Katie. And it is phenomenal, you guys. And it helped me to process a lot of the victim mindset. If we've been hurt before, or if we are like, she said this about me. Is that true? Do you absolutely know? There's these questions that are called the turnaround. And it is phenomenal. And it's helped me so many times when I'm like, is that true? Yes or no? Do you absolutely know that that's true? Yes or no? Who would you be without that thought? Well, I'd be happy. I'd be excited. I'd be on my voice. I wouldn't let it affect me, right? So this book is really awesome, you guys. It's kind of hard if you're not ready to face your own crap too. So, but I don't explain myself. And if I do feel like it is a place, then I'll go to war. But oftentimes I don't feel like I can, or I need to. And it's taken some strength to be to step back. And Josh really helped me with this, because again, going back to being loyal, I want to defend. I want to fight. And Josh is always like, is saying that going to get you what you want? Is saying XYZ going to change the result? Is it going to change, what you want from this conversation? And if the answer is no, then don't entertain it. Don't do it. I'm like, okay, cool. And it also releases the blah from it too. That oh my gosh, now I have to, or this person's saying this about me, or I don't feel like I have a voice in this say. Yeah, you do, but you also don't need to explain yourself as to why you're saying something or as to why you're not saying something.
I could just stay here for a second, because I just feel that was huge. That was huge. I'm going to write that and hang that up in my room, because I need that. I think worst fear is being misunderstood. Mm-hmm. And so, but you saying I don't have to deal an explanation, I'm like I need to like unpack this for a while. I don't know that I can process it right this second.
Yes. But you guys, I mean, and again, as you do, I feel like I've done years of growth and I only have minutes of explanation. Like I've done hours of unpacking this, how do I handle this mindset? How do I change from being in a funk? How do I get out of a funk? What is a funk? Why do we even have funks? Like, this study, and I only have sentences that I really take with me that are just like rock you right back into place, and that's all you need. You don't need a lot. You just need one thing it's like your armor. What are you going to put on? Powerful people don't deal in explanation. I'm powerful. The end. Enough said. And you're like, sweet, cool.
Yeah. It's so good. So good. Okay. So because you said it, I actually wasn't going to ask this, but I am going to ask it now because you mentioned a funk. And one of the things that I feel like a lot of times comes out when we're talking about yellows, and we see it a lot in the leadership pages, is how do I lead my yellows? And there's always this idea out there that as yellows, we aren't internally motivated. We have to be motivated by other people, which I have a whole set of feelings about that. But I want to hear from you I want to hear your response to this, because there are some reds also in the comments that are saying, how do I really lead a yellow who's a dead leg or through a funk or all that? So I'm just, where we're going. So I'm just going to let you go.
Yeah. Oh, you guys, here's the deal. If you want to go to the foundation of the house of a yellow, we want to help people. And so if you're a red and you want to motivate me, tell me how I can help you. Tell me what you need from me. Tell me how I can show up. Tell me how great I can do if, oh my gosh, Amber, if you show up to this event, if you show up to this Zoom, will you just please love on everybody? I'm going to be like, yeah, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely. You bet. So as a red, you got to put us in our platform, or a blue, or again, it doesn't matter. We need to be needed. And ultimately, as a yellow, not having an upline, as a yellow, not getting recognition until I was in the top 50, as a yellow who really had to build her business by herself, I know what it's like to have to self-motivate yourself. But ultimately, not necessarily that we need a team, an upline, or a downline to be motivating to us, because nobody should. I don't care what color personality you are. You shouldn't, if that is your reasoning, as soon as they're gone, so are you. Right? It's like saying I need a friend to go to the gym. Well, as soon as they stop going, naturally you have permission to stop going. As any personality, as a human, that's not a good way to stay motivated. Okay, let me just make that very clear. But who do I need to help first and foremost? My family. I need to put food on my table. That alone should motivate you. I need to get off WIC and food stamps. That alone should motivate you. I need to put gas in my car. This is all go to the foundation. Who do you need to help first and foremost? And if I don't help my kids, if I don't go and work my business, I'm not helping my kids. If I don't feed my business every single day, my kids are going to be hungry. That's kind of the mindset that I was in and still want to stay in, because even when you have money, your kids can't be your why, but they can be your reason. But as a yellow, once you reach the top, or even whatever that best is for you, whether that's diamond, whether that's double, triple, emerald, ruby, whatever it is for you, wherever you're living, you're this, we're good. I hate that saying, I'm good. I'm good. None of us want good. We want great, right? We want the best of the best of the best. And so, but when you're at that good part, who do you need to help? Where do you need to go? Who do you need to show up for? How do you need to grow, right? Oh, Cindy, you're screen sharing. I don't know how to get out of this. There you go, Claire. But I hope that makes sense. But ultimately, oh, Claire, I think there you are. Okay. But ultimately, I just lost what I was going. That screen share got me. Dang it.
You're okay. You were talking about your kids. They can be your
yeah.
reason. Yeah.
But ultimately, you guys, it can't be a team that motivates you or a downline or an upline. It's got to be you. Like this, you are in a personal business. And again, it's like, if I would have depended on an upline to show up for me, it wouldn't be happening, right? Or if I were to have depended on one of my downlines to get me to my promotion, I would never be ambassador. You have to have options and multiples, and again, make them feel your desire for them too.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure if you were done.
I had to like shut my door.
Okay, that's what it was. I was like, it looked like you were still talking, but I didn't hear you. Okay. Well, first of all, I just want to say, if you do have questions for Amber, use this time while we're talking also to drop a couple questions in the comments so we can go over them, because I'm almost done with the questions that I had prepared, and we do have some time. So if you have questions, please ask them. But I think one question that I wanted to ask is, have you dealt with feelings of unworthiness in your business? Because, and yeah, I mean, there you go. I'll stop. There's the question.
Yes. And you guys, today, like, it's every day, but that's also why every day I need to grow my faith. Now, remember, that's something I didn't have strong a long time ago. And it was about 2 years ago that I had this, it's still, I think, on one of my mirrors or on my sticky notes by my light switches. But I said, I want my faith and my finances to grow together. And that was a bold ask, because ultimately I'm going to be put in situations where my finances are tested with faith. And I was like, dang it, why'd I ask that? Because I feel like I'm faithful. I feel like now I trust him. You know, I feel like now I'm like, forgive me, right? But I still don't feel worthy. And whether that's, I don't feel worthy of $200, or I don't feel worthy of $600, or I don't feel worthy of being on thanks baby, in this position. Okay. Like, if I'm just going to be super transparent, like, there's days I'm like, me, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to handle this today. I don't feel called for, like, speechless. I don't feel worthy. And, that's when I know, for me, I have to dig deeper that day and more personal growth and remind myself who I am. I know who I am. And getting to that point I'm going to not get it. I'm going to hold it together. But getting to that point where I know who I am, so much so that whatever anyone else says about me isn't true. And in the times and the moments that it's like, you suck, you're a really bad mom. That's to be transparent, you guys, that's something I've always struggled with, which is also why I've always wanted to work, is because I never felt like I would be a good mom, because I didn't have the greatest example. Anybody else? And I feel like if I just work and be really good at working, then I don't have to be a good mom, and that's going to be okay. But you know what? I can work and be a good mom. There's nothing that says you can only have this or that. I can have it all. I can have a rockin' freaking marriage. I can have a bomb bank account. I can have a banging body at 33 years old, okay? Like, I can do the work and have all that there is and more, because that's what he promises. And so when you think, I am who you say I am. Does anyone know that song? Like, that one gets me, and I'm just like, oh, yes, yes. Like, that is it. I am who he says I am, and I am a child of God. I am lovable. I am inspiring. I am great. I am epic, and I'm a leader. And you know what? I'm Amber freaking Parker. Like, I know who I am. And there's times, you guys, I have to be like, am I really? Am I really inspiring? Am I really cool? Like, am I really, like, this awesome mom? Like, yes, 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 yes. And I look like a psycho in the mirror telling myself I am. I know I am. And when you know, no one can take that from you. But it takes work, and it takes reminders, and you have to be consistent, and you have to want it. I think a lot of times, a lot of us want to feel unworthy, so we have an excuse as to why we aren't going where we're called to go, if you want me to be real. Just saying. I wish I could read these comments. Claire, where are you?
I'm here. No, I know they're going so fast because just everyone is responding. But one of the biggest things that just made me giggle is all these people are saying, who is saying bad things about you? Who's talking bad about you? I'm like, I know.
It's not even other people. It's your mind. Like, it's me. It's the other side of me, the old me. It's the me who, who wasn't sober. It's the me who's from 2001, right? Like, it's the old you that doesn't like the new you that you're going to battle with. It's not necessarily people or places or things, but it's your mind. Like, and if you knew how powerful your mind was, you'd never speak a negative thought again. Because what we say happens 10 times. And if I say all those things, I am great, I am amazing, I am powerful, I'm beautiful, I'm loving, I'm caring. Like, if I tell myself that, that's going to grow. And then when people say, you're not caring, you're not inspiring, I'm like, huh? Oh, you're not welcome in my garden. Get out. Like, you're not welcome here. Sorry, not sorry. Okay? Like, you're not welcome here. I know who I am.
You touched on it just briefly, and I would love for you to go further into how you overcame a victim mentality, because I think so often, like, I feel like we as red or as yellows, not red.
We'll be red tonight.
Trying to suddenly pull that out, I guess. But I think we as yellows so often we're like, we're considering other people. And so I know that I get very easily offended because I feel like, because naturally the other personality types are not considering me to the level that I would consider them, because that's what I do. I like go above and beyond to inconvenience myself for other people. And when other people don't do that for me, I'm like, I don't feel loved. I don't feel, valued or whatever. So how do you kind of overcome that victim mentality and really, you know what I'm asking?
So, okay, guys. So one of the first things is that nobody will do what you do. And so there's your answer. Like, I'm telling you that right now, is that no one will love to the degree of what you love. They might love you more. They might love you less. They might love those around you more. They might love those around you less. They might show up more than you. They might show up less. They will never do what you do. They will never see what you see. They don't have your eye gates. They don't have your ear gates. They don't have your mouth gates. And that is a blessing. Okay. And so a lot of times, I mean, this is like, we've all had things happen in our lives. Okay. And there was something that happened to me when I was very young that I literally did not tell anyone about. And I carried that with me, pain. Like, it literally caused pain internally. And I struggled for a really long time. And one thing that really helped me get past that is I'm not going to give my life to them. Okay? I'm not going to let what happened to me be for me. Okay? I'm not going to allow what someone says define me. I'm not going to allow my feelings being hurt by what they said. Hurt people. Can we just get an amen for that? Okay? If they're hurting, they're going to hurt you. And so again, in that turnaround in the Loving What Is book, it talks about this a lot. And who would you be without that thought? And you guys, I'm not kidding you. When I released what happened to me, and I said, he can judge him. He can handle it. That's not for me to do. The only thing I can control is what I do. And when I released that and I was like, this is it. Like, it's not mine to control. One, I can't change it. Number two, I can't fix it. The only thing I can do is walk away from it. And when I did that, the pain was gone. And it's more of a reflection of them than it is you. And once you get that in your mindset, you're going to see people try and hurt you and you're like, wow, it is just a reflection of them. Now, what we see in other people is just a reflection of you. And so if we're seeing, right, like when people come up to me, you guys, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. That's just because I'm a reflection of you. We can't see in other people what we don't already have in ourselves. And vice versa, we will see in other people what we see in ourselves. And so if we see people that are negative, if we see people that are like, so what, I can't even like think of something because I'm like, oh, that's so gross. But if we see those qualities, ask yourself the turnaround. Why do I see that? Why do I see the negative? Chances are, if it makes you mad, it's because you've done that. Or you're like, I don't ever want to be that person. Well, probably have been. You probably have been to some degree, right? Don't forget your worst day when you're judging someone else for their worst day. Okay. And a lot of this is just doing that turnaround and getting out of that victim mindset. The last thing I want to do is give power to someone else besides him. And he gives it to me. So anyone else doesn't have power over me unless you allow it. And there was another quote that I'll share with you guys is, no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. And so if you're feeling inferior to someone, it's because you gave them consent. You said, yes, I'll feel inferior to you. That sounds great. So no one can make you feel inferior without your consent.
I can't write fast enough. This is so good. Someone just said in the chat, they said, this is ministry. And I couldn't agree more. I literally just feel like I'm being ministered to. I feel like that what you just said was divine, like needed to be said. And because you're also a yellow, you were able to say it in a way that we can receive it, but it was powerful. And I think all of us needed to hear so deeply that we can't see in others. That's what's not a reflection of ourselves. And what am I seeing in others? And that's making me do like a huge heart check and a huge like, wow, I really need to sit down. I need to unpack this and I need to pray over this. I need to pray into it and I need to spend time here. And thank you, because God really, really used you tonight to share that message. And looking in the chat, obviously everyone else needed to hear that too. And a question that so many people were asking that I feel like you just got your answer to, but so many people were asking, how do I not compare myself? Or what about when somebody else is going faster than me? What about if somebody else is promoting faster than me? And I'll let you speak more on that if you have more that you want to say. But I just think so much of what you just said with who are you giving power to? Are you giving power to someone else over the power that you're giving to God? And who is he saying that I am? But yeah, if you want to unpack that more, you can too.
So this one's pulled up right on the screen, is that how do you stop comparing yourself? The people who joined you in the same exact time and they're moving faster than you. You guys, it's just because they've grown faster than you. Like, we are all just a seed here on earth. And if we aren't growing ourselves, you will stay short. Like, you will stay minimal. You will stay mediocre, right? And so it's not, I see this a lot, right? And this is just 7 years of being in the business. A lot of times we see people come in and they shoot up to the top of the company overnight. They blinked and they're like Ambassador Diamond. But you didn't see what they did the 10 years before that. You guys didn't see from 14 to the age of 24 or however old I was, all the managing, all the leadership position I was put in. You didn't see that. That's why I went Ruby in 45 days. But then I got stuck at triple. And why me? Why was I stuck at triple? Why did I go triple in 8 months? How come it took someone else 2 days? How come it took someone else 6 years? Everyone has their own growth. And again, the faster you grow, which is why, going back to getting out of the funks, is those are growing pains. Okay. I don't want to stay there. So I'm going to learn quickly and get out quickly so I can grow faster. And so I now take these funks, like what would have 3 years ago thrown me out for like 2 or 3 weeks, like down and out, depressed, like I'm not talking to anybody, shut out the world. I give myself 20 minutes now. This is a growing pain. I'm aware. I'm telling you guys right now, when you experience it, like, sorry about your luck. Now you know that's the good news and the bad news, but you have to grow quicker. Okay. And so find what area you're not good at and study that every single day. Find what area you're lacking in, whether it's friendships. Guys, that's a real thing people struggle with. Relationships, that's a real thing people don't know how to do. Whether it's money, whether it's being a good steward over your money, whether it's marriage, whatever that area is, that you're lacking, if I could give you that piece of the puzzle, you're like, if I just knew this, I would be ambassador. Go study this every single day until you're ambassador. Otherwise, you can't be mad if somebody else, they just grew differently before you. You might have sales skills, but you don't have any leadership skills. They might have leadership skills and they learn sales skills, right? So whatever that area is for you, you just have to grow. So as far as comparing yourself, I will never forget one of the I really take pride in this, you guys, is I stay in my lane. When we look left, when we're driving, we will go left, right? When we look right, our car will go right. And instead of looking in other people's lanes in order to be a safe driver, in order to get to your destination, I have to stay in my lane. And I'll never forget at the event, Mark coming to the edge of the stage. And you guys, I'm not kidding you, like this gives me chills every time. If you were there, oh my gosh, you know what I'm talking about. But he came to the edge of the stage and he says, don't you dare look left or right. And he just put his hand like this, and his hand, Coach Mark, like just at the edge of the stage. And he was like, you stay in your lane. Don't you dare look left or right. You just stay right there. And I was like, I got it, coach. I'm never looking left. And when everyone else goes right, I'm going left. Like when everyone else wants to follow everyone and they want to be most people, I don't want to be most people. And so stay in your lane. And then you won't compare and you're not going to crash. But when we look left, what is she doing? Oh my gosh. What is she doing? Wow. She went ambassador overnight. This is crazy. That's when you crash. That's when you get in the funk. And so the best thing is that we can stay in our lanes. We have control over that. We are in control to look where everyone else is going. So you don't need to compare yourself. This is your journey, right? And it's just what degree haven't you grown that they have? And find a mentor. Find a mentor that is 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, that is exactly where you want to be. But if they don't inspire you, unfollow them. I'm not going to lie to you guys. There was a time in my business when I had to unfollow every other ambassador. It was too tempting. It was like flashy lights. And I was like, oh, what is she doing? Oh, and I'm like, oh, crash, right? Funk. Dang it, I'm paralyzed. And so that happens sometimes.
Yeah, that's such a powerful message for yellows, because we are okay with recognizing the strengths of other people. That's the strength of ours, is that we can elevate others. But in that, be careful that we're not elevating them to a place where we're diminishing ourselves. It's so, so powerful.
Exactly. I'm trying to read
Everyone is so thankful. Yeah. Everyone's just so thankful. This is so, so good. So I'm going to let you just give any closing statements that you want to give, or if you want to respond to the chat or whatever, and then we can wrap it.
This is so great. Like, first of all, again, it's like, I don't know why I'm called here and now, but I'm not going to question why I'm called for here and now. And Cammie, when I first started, I don't remember what rank I was, but she got me a little sign, and it said, God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the called. And I was like, because surely I'm not qualified for this. But I was called, and if you're called, you're going to become qualified. But you have to be willing to answer the phone when you're called. And if you don't, you're going to miss the mark. And so as you guys are on whatever journey you're in right now, in your business and in your personal life, and I'm going to stress this one more time, you guys. If your marriage is struggling, so will your business. If your body is struggling, so will your marriage, so will your business. And again, you can have it all. Saying I can't go to the gym, or I can't do this, or I can't do date night because I'm working a business, BS. Not true. Not true. You can have it all. And I think that that's the main thing I want you guys to know, is that you can have it all. It's going to take ups and downs. It's going to take sacrifice / investment. It's going to take you becoming a different version of you to get what you've never gotten. But I promise you guys have all been called, and you don't even know what's at the end of the call yet. But just pick it up. Pick up that phone. Call someone who needs like a hug. Call someone who you feel led. Like that card that I gave Claire, God spoke to me and said, write her card. And I was like, but we've never met. And it was like, do it. And you're going to get these promptings. You guys, don't ignore them. Don't ignore them. You're being selfish if you ignore them. Okay. Oh my gosh. This is so great. You guys, like, I'm a crier, but like, this is what I need. Like, this is what, again, I'm like, what did I say? What happened? Like, I want to watch the recording, but just to see your guys' faces again, like, just to see that, like, it's making an impact and it's making a difference. I love this.
It absolutely is making a difference. Such a difference. This is powerful. Everyone wants a recording. Everyone wants to watch it over again. I already do. So good.
Love it. Oh my gosh. Yes, I had. Yeah. You guys are going to have to let a lot of people go. And it's not that you don't love them. But I want to share, and I don't know if she's on here right now, but guys, 7 years will be August. My older sister joined yesterday for the first time. And for those of you who maybe are like, my family's not supportive, it's got to be their time. And she's like my greatest friend. But it's crazy looking back and being like, gosh, I wanted her 3 years ago. I wanted her to be my first, and the right ones will come with you at the right time. And that's something hard, is that a lot of us have to trust the timing, but we can't trust the timing and sit down. We have to trust the timing and move forward. Oh man.
We can't trust the timing and sit down. That's a quote right there.
Guys, there's 99 new messages. I can't even read them all. This is so great. Oh. You guys are so good. So good. And here's what's crazy too, you guys, is if you don't step into where you're called, like, you're going to miss a big mark. Where, like, what if I look back and I'm like, what if I had quit when I was a Ruby? What if I had quit when it got hard? What if I would have quit when I got that first 300 whatever paycheck and it wasn't enough? What if? And what if you keep going and then you guys get to, be this for someone else, for me? Like, you guys inspire me too. This is cool. Oh my gosh. Carly. I'm not crying, you're crying. Somebody with that in the chat. I love it. Oh my gosh, this is so great. And you guys know what's crazy too is a lot of times on days when I feel like I can't have it all, I just keep going. And then I get asked to do crazy Zooms like this. And I love it. It's so great. Claire, anything else that we can do tonight?
We had a couple people ask for you to pray and close us out.
Oh my gosh. What? I knew I didn't want to get down to the 99 messages. I'm sweating. You guys, I'm sweating. Like, I got a sunburn and I'm sweating. Oh my gosh. Sure. I'm sweating. Father God, you are so good. You are so good to me and to this company. And you are so good to every single one of us as your children. I ask that you touch each and every single person that's watching this. I ask that you give them the light of abundance. I ask that you heal what is broken. And that you give them every ounce of love they deserve. Whether they're struggling with faith or whether they're struggling with finances, that you let them hear your promises, that this is a good life and you're a good Father. I ask that you bless this company, as today is a big day for us, a big, big day. And that you ask and bless our corporate team, all the countries we're in, that they may know that you are in this company, that you are there for them, that they're in the right place, that they are called on your behalf to go serve, to go do, to go be exactly who you made them to be. I can't thank you enough for the blessings in my life and for this path that you've called me on. I'm thankful you didn't give up on me in my worst days. And I know you won't give up on anyone else. And that your promises are true. And I surrender to you, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amber, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This encouraged a lot of people. This brought breakthrough for a lot of people. I'm getting texts and messages already. So thank you so much just for being willing. Thanks for picking up the call, for showing up, and for continuing to show up, and for listening when God asks you to do something and asks you to speak. And thank you so much for the inspiration that you are. We really, really love you.
I love you guys. Thank you so much for jumping on, you guys. I know that this is just the beginning of where we're going. Thank you, Claire, for listening to that prompting. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
So much love. This is what happens when you're on with a bunch of yellows. Just all the love. We just all love each other. Oh, thank you guys so much for getting on. Have an incredible night.
Thank you so much, you guys.